individuals and interactions over process and tools. So if you can remember the waterfall, we are mainly talking about the process, about the documentation and following a strict process likewise. But when it comes to agile, it's not about the process and tools, but it's about the individuals and the interaction between them. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to qebro. I'm back with another video on this week as well. So, as you know, now we are looking at the software development methodologies, and last week we looked at the waterfall method. And on the very first week, we did the introduction part, and there I discussed that there are different methodologies, mainly waterfall and agile. And last week we finished the waterfall part, and from today onwards, we can look at the agile. As I mentioned, this will take a couple of weeks because since like agile is the mostly used software development methodology these days, I thought of like spending some time for the agile part. So today we can get an introduction like similar way as we discussed the waterfall part last week. And then from next week we can discuss about some practical aspects like how the agile methodology is been actually used, like other what are the other agile meetings and the other process related things to agile in a practical aspect we can see. Today will be the introduction part to the agile. So without wasting any more time, let's start. So yeah, the same slide, and hopefully this will be the last time you will see this. So again, so we have all these steps in our software development life cycle, starting from the requirement analysis till the deployment. So in last week you saw in the waterfall method we did one after the another. We had to wait till one step fully completed. We need to wait till 100% completion of a step before going into the another. And also at the end of the at the end of each step there will be an output, and that output will be used as the input for the next step. For example, we will wait till requirement analysis is 100% done, and at the end of the requirement analysis there will be SRS documents. Those documents will be used at the designing phase. Likewise it will go at the end of the cycle. Once we put it to the production, that's the only place where our client will be interacted again after the requirement analysis stage. And then if there are any changes, those things will be catered as change requests later, go in the same cycle. So the feedbacks are not regular, and then it will take more time. But as a process, it's very standard or very simple process and very strict to the documentation likewise. So those are the main aspects of the waterfall approach. So again, to refresh your knowledge. Then, with keeping that in mind, now if we come to the agile process, so here the circle means the same SDLC cycle, let's say, and there will be multiple cycles like this. What it will happen here is like we can go whole SDLC multiple times. Yeah, those we can, let's say, name as sprints. I will come to those in next week. And then when we have a new project, or let's say when we have a new feature or a user stories, so then we will do the planning, then designing, development, testing, and then we will release small feature. For example, let's say we are working on a banking application. So if we follow in the waterfall approach, we will gather all the requirements, do the whole designing, development, testing, and then at the end of the cycle, we will release a full product to the customer. So 100% ready product will be available at the end of this DLC. But it will take long time because we are waiting till the whole development and whole testing likewise. But when it comes to Agile, we will break this full application into smaller parts. Maybe like let's say admin board, then the client part, then the reporting part, then the dashboard. Likewise, we will break this into smaller chunks. And at the end of each iteration, there will be something for the clients, not like the waterfall. So the clients don't need to wait till the end of the full project. But by end of each iteration, there will be something for the clients, a working product, a working part will be released to the clients. And also here you can go back and forth between different steps, that like you don't need to wait till requirement gathering is fully completed. Likewise, if you are in testing, or then the testing stage can be done in the requirement analysis part as well. You can help there too. Then the development part, then you can go back and forward between each steps, and also even at the testing stage, maybe the requirements can change. Likewise, we are open to new changes even at later stages. Likewise, so in the agile methodologies, we have smaller chunks, and at the end of each iteration we will release something to our clients. So that is like from the client perspective, even from the very beginning they will have something instead of waterfall. So let's say two banks, one bank is like ABC and let's say XYZ. ABC bank give their project, and that team is working on the waterfall, and they say it will take 1 year. Then for the XYZ bank, they are going with another project for another software company, and they are following the agile methodology. Again, for this, them also the full period is 1 year. But let's say their sprints are at the end of each month. Let's say for the time being, it's easy to take like that. So for the ABC Bank, the ABC Bank clients, they have to wait till 1 year to get something working. But for the clients of the XYZ Bank, who are following the agile methodology, by end of very first month also they will get something. Not the fully 100% completed product, but something working. So they can still use some features at the end of the first month. So after the second month, few more. Third month, again few more. Likewise, it will continuously improve. By end of the 12th month, 100% fully finished product is there. So now you can think like with Waterfall, the clients had to wait long 1 year without anything. But with Agile, every end of month, they will get something working. Not the fully one, but small by small, part by part. Finally, the product will be built. So that's the main difference between Agile and the Waterfall. And that's why Agile is now mostly used, because with the advancement of technologies and with the high competition among the competitors, with all these things, and the change in needs of the clients, and also the change in market, all these things are now affecting the software development as well, because we are developing our products so the clients who are to the market needs, and then in that case we need to cater those requirements, and also we need to adapt quickly to these changing environments. So with that, we can't wait so long to release our products to the client. So we need to try to release as soon as possible, but yeah, we need to keep in mind about the quality as well. So that's why now Agile is very popular rather than the waterfall model. Okay. So as I mentioned, all these cycles will be repeated, and also you can go back and forward, and at the end of each iteration there will be something released to the client. So that is about Agile. Then if we come to the Agile manifesto, so I will go to this website. So this is the, let's say, the home of Agile. Agile was actually developed by 17 software developers who gathered, as I can remember, early 2000s. So they wanted to create a new software development methodology. So yeah, 2001 here. So instead of using the waterfall model, they wanted to invent a new development model for the changing environment. So they came up with Agile. And in Agile, there are 4 core values and 12 principles. So all these things you can access from this agilemanifesto.org official website. So here you can see all this information. These are the 4 values. I will come to that later. And then about the people who contribute to the Agile Manifesto, and then here you can go and see the 12 principles of Agile software and some other information as well, and also from different languages also you can access it. So here we have those 12 principles. So these are the pillars of Agile, the 4 core values and the 12 principles. So whole Agile methodology will drive through these core values and the principles. Okay, first let's go through the core values. Then it says individuals and interactions over process and tools. So if you can remember the waterfall, we are mainly talking about the process, about the documentation, and following a strict process likewise. But when it comes to Agile, it's not about the process and tools, but it's about the individuals and the interaction between them. Because if you take your project team, it's not the process it will drive, the individuals will drive it. And the interaction between each developers and then between the developers and the testers likewise, we need to value these interactions because that's who it will drive at the end of the development process. So in Agile, we value individuals and interactions more over the process and tools, not like solely following a process written somewhere. No, it's about how we interact between each other and how, as individuals, we contribute to our project like that. So it values individuals and interactions more. Then a working software over comprehensive documentation. Again, in Waterfall, I mentioned that documentation is a must there, and we have strict rules for the documentations. But when it comes to Agile, we value working software, not the comprehensive documentation. So, but in that case, it doesn't say we have zero documentation in Agile. No, we do documentation, but not everything. But what happened in Waterfall, like we had to document everything in Waterfall. But when it comes to Agile, not everything we will document, but only the things which are required. For example, the user stories we will document likewise. But we spend more time to deliver something, to create our actual product because that's what client needs, not documentation mainly. That's the second core value. Then the third one, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So if you can remember in Waterfall, I mentioned that we will create the SRS documents and those, then get the sign off from our clients and the project. Then that's done. Then the developers will go through the SRS documents, the testers as well. Then they will develop something and they will release it. Now at the end of the cycle, again customers will come and see at the developed product and then they will give their feedback. So it was mainly about some contract negotiation. We signed off an SRS. Then if there is something else developed, so then we will try to negotiate and then the change requests will come in likewise. But when it comes to the Agile, it's all about the customer collaboration. We have fast feedback cycles, not like the waterfall. So in the waterfall, at the beginning, client interacted and again at the end. But in Agile, it's not like that. We have 100% customer collaboration as well. Every time we will contact the clients and we will get the requirements and then we can discuss even about the design. So after we can show these diagrams as well if you need anything at that stage, even at the development time, if you need any feedback from the customers, you can get that feedback and then you can do the changes and then you will show, you will do the demos as well for each iteration and then again, if there is any change needed, you can cater those in the very next sprint. No need to wait till so much time till the end of the project. So likewise, you can get quick feedbacks and easy to adapt. So the customer collaboration is valued more over the contract negotiation here. And the last core value is responding to change. So it's all about what Agile is, not following just a plan. Because in Waterfall, at the beginning of the project, we had a plan and then we had the documentation, then we will just follow it. We will not respond to changes much in the middle till the end of the project, and then we will cater those as change requests, as I mentioned earlier as well. But in Agile, it's not about that. It's all about the responding to the change. So that's what Agile is. So at each sprint, we can do a demo and then we can do again sprint planning for the next sprint. And then if there are anything new came after the demo, so then we can cater those things in the next sprint. So likewise, we will adapt. We will quickly adapt to the response and we will respond to the changes requested. So it will be quickly we can cater those needs as well. So those are the main four core values of the Agile Manifesto. Then if we come to the 12 principles. So again the same things with some additional parts. So the main principles, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery. So again the same thing, we need to adapt and we need to cater those changes. welcome change in requirements even late in the development. Agile process harness the change to the customer competitive advantage. Deliver work in software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. Business people, developers must work together. So like these principles you can put under these core values. So if for example, if we take individuals and interactions, this particular principle will align with that. Business people and developers work together daily throughout the project, the interactions. But when it comes to these things, those will go for the responding to change because welcome change and requirements likewise. So you can align these 12 principles with one of those core values. So you can go through these. I have shared the link as well. So I hope now it's clear about the core values and the principles. Then let's go to the next part. So here it was about the child manifesto. Then about the benefits. So we discussed about the benefits in the waterfall as well. If you can remember similarly now about the benefits of the agile. But I hope now even I don't need to go through this after looking at the agile manifesto, the core values and the principles. Now you know about the benefits of agile. So as you know, it will improve the communication and collaboration because we have fast feedback cycles and we will every time try to interact with even the project team members and with also the clients as well. So all the stakeholders are interacting with each other. So we have improved communication and collaboration. And also we have the short feedback loops and adaptation cycles. So as I mentioned, at the end of each sprint also we can do the demos and we can get the feedback for that. And then if there are any change requests, so then we can cater those in the next cycle as well. And the transparency. Because all the stakeholders are communicating and everyone is interacting. So it's transparent, not like in the waterfall where client join in the beginning and then no communication and then wait till the end to see something and then he will be surprised with what they have. But here, since like we have these demos, plannings, the other interactions, the calls, everything, and maybe the daily sprint meetings. So if you need, you can invite your clients for the daily meetings as well. So it depends on your team, your project organization. So the transparency is very high. All the stakeholders know about the current situation and where the project is heading. So the transparency is high. Due to these, all these reasons, the risk is also reduced. Even at the planning time also we can do the planning for the risk as well. Then we can have the risk mitigation plans as well. And also due to the improved communication and the transparency also the risk is reduced. And we can improve the delivery because like at the end of each sprint we will deliver something and due to that the customer satisfaction will be also high because we can quickly adapt based on the feedback as well. So customer will request something and by the end of the next sprint, if time permits, we can deliver that change as well. So the customer satisfaction is also high when it compared with the waterfall approach. So those are the benefits mainly. I rushed through that because now you already know about it after the core principles, core values and the principles. So then we can come to the limitations. Yeah. Now let's think about the limitations. Yeah, because everything there will be pros and cons. Same for the waterfall now, same for the agile as well. So the limitations like since again the limitations will be aligned with the benefits as well. Because due to the benefits or due to our values, sometimes those can affect badly on our SaaS again. So the limitations are we can say over customized because like we try to every time have these feedback cycles and to have the interactions. So due to that we are sometimes you will feel like we are over customizing the things. And also there could be stressful time pressures because you will get like very short deadlines now, not like in the waterfall. Now you will get for each sprint you have sprint deadlines you need to meet. It's very quickly like if your sprint is 2 weeks, now you have a 2 week deadline you need to meet. So there will be stressful time pressures. And also after the demo now, if there are new changes and you have already planned for your next sprint, then there will be new changes. So then you need to maybe reshuffle or you need to replan your already planned sprint. And then because if the new changes are more critical, the priority is high, then you might need to cater those things in the next sprint and drop something which you already planned. So due to those things, now the stressful time pressures are also there. And then the unpredictability, because we don't know again at the demo or with client feedbacks what we need to plan, or whether we need to change our plans, or we do need to add new things like that. So always this unpredictability will be there with the agile process, because that's why we don't like, yeah, we plan ahead before all the sprints started, and then that's why we have sprint planning for each sprint as well, because we can't stick with our the initial plan, because those things will be changed with client feedbacks and everything. So it's very unpredictable. We need to uh, change our plans accordingly. So that's what previously under the benefits also we mentioned as adapting quickly. So that can come on the other hand as unpredictable as the limitation as. Then the documentation often isn't thorough as the waterfall. In waterfall, like we try to document everything, but in one hand it will be useful, because when there is a newcomer, they can quickly go through the documentation and quickly get onboarded. And also, if you are starting a new similar project, then you can use those as a guideline and as a draft as well. So those benefits are there with the documentation. And also, if government or any other uh, regulations are looking for the documentation, you can provide, and also those documentation will be useful at audit time as well. But when it comes to agile, as I mentioned, we are not much doing any documentation, and we are document only the required items like the user story. So in that case, sometimes you might feel documentation is not enough when you go to a new project, and then there might not be something much from this project as drafts likewise. Then finally, due to all the above mentioned things, the difficulty in estimations and burnout risks also can be there due to the change in needs and the requirements. So those are about the limitations, and then we can go. Yeah. So in the waterfall also I mentioned, by removing the limitations of waterfall, then there were some new hybrid versions of the waterfall to improve its advantages and to reduce the limitations. Similarly, under agile also there are so many variations of agile. For example, like the Kanban, the Scrum, extreme programming, lean development. Like there are so many variations of agile. All these agile types will be used in the same core values and the principles, but the process there could be differences. For example, in Kanban, what we will do is like we will have a board where we have all these stories or the tasks. So people can assign them to themselves and then work, and then they can move it between different columns, like to do, then in development, in testing done. Likewise, there can be columns, so you can move these tickets between columns. So that's about the Kanban. Then when it comes to the Scrum, in Scrum we have the sprints, like the things which I discussed. We will do a PI planning, then we have sprints, then we will do the sprint planning. Likewise, it will go on. So Scrum is, I think Scrum is the mostly used or widely used, most popular agile methodology. Then I think that it's the Kanban after the Scrum. So we can talk about Scrum in coming weeks. And then we have the extreme programming, lean development, and those stuff as well, with slight adjustments from the above two types. So that's about the types of agile. So I hope you, yeah, we can stop from here for today. I rushed through it because there's nothing much, just the theoretical parts. So you can go through the Agile Manifesto website as well to get more information on that. And as I mentioned, from next week, we can start talking about the Scrum and about the actual process in how it is used in practice. So if you have any questions, you can reach me out from the comment section, or you can drop me an email at qebro.pro@gmail.com. I'm really happy to help you with all your queries. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and also to share this with your friends as well. So we can stop from here for today, and happy testing, and see you till next week.